Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your Baltimore Sports Podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we are going to be recapping the Orioles 8-6 win over the Minnesota Twins, and also their first and only series win of 2026. So far, their first and only series win so far. Obviously, this has been their only series that they've played this season. And the Orioles win the series 2-1. They win this game specifically 8-6. The offense looked incredible. They had 12 total hits. They scored 8 total runs. They did allow a lot of base runners in this game. The bullpen and the starting pitching was a little bit iffy throughout the day, but the offense did come in clutch thanks to Tyler O'Neill, Pete Alonso, Kobe Mayo, Adley Rutschman. A ton of guys contributed to the Orioles' success today in terms of scoring runs. And also, Ryan Helsley got his second save of the season. He is now 2 for 2 on saves. He's gotten the save on both of the Orioles' wins this year. He wins this year. He looks great. This offense is looking like it's starting to heat up. They scored 3 total runs in the first 2 games, and then they scored 8 runs today. So hopefully they can use this as momentum heading into tomorrow's series against the Rangers. But let's just recap this game. And going over this Orioles 8-6 win, again, 12 total hits today for the Orioles, 8 total runs. They were 5 for 8 with runners in scoring position, which is a huge upgrade from what it's looked like the past couple of days. They still did in this game, they still did leave 6 players or 6 runners on base, which is fine. Yesterday they left 11 on. The day before they left 7 on. Today they left 6 on. But again, doesn't really matter too much when you're out there scoring 8 runs and you're winning the game because of it. And this game was won purely off of the offense, and also I would also have to say Ryan Helsley as well. But the offense was the main contributor in this win. Going over this offense specifically, Taylor Ward went 1 for 4 with a run scored and a walk. He looked great today. He looked patient at the plate. Also made a really good play out in left field in the 9th inning. Really good diving grab out in left. He's starting to learn the parameters of that Orioles Camden Yards left field side. Obviously, it's a lot different from a lot of other left field walls because our wall is stretched out a little bit, and it's this whole dynamic. Playing left field in Camden Yards is quite an experience, and Taylor Ward is starting to figure that out as time goes on. Again, this is only the 3rd game of the year. There's still 159 games left this season, so there's still a lot of baseball to get played. So we're not going to put too much into this win, just like we didn't put a lot into the loss yesterday when we went over that, because there's still a ton of baseball left. This team is still trying to figure out its identity, but as we go through the first couple weeks of the season, we can really start to see some hopeful patterns and trends throughout certain players, throughout the pitching, and just throughout the mentality of how this team plays, and also how new manager Craig Alvarez likes to do things. So Taylor Ward obviously 1 for 4 with a walk, got on base twice in this game, did score a run. Gunnar Henderson gets his first hit of the season. He was having a nasty stretch to start the season, along with Taylor Ward. Both of those guys got their first hits of the season today. Gunnar Henderson went 1 for 4 with a run and a walk. So Gunnar Henderson and Taylor Ward, their stat lines looked literally the exact same. Gunnar in the 9th inning, or in the 8th inning, did get picked off. Which was he was just being a little bit too aggressive, obviously. We've seen that with him a couple times over the past few years, being a little bit careless on the bags. But Gunnar Henderson gets his first hit of the year. Hopefully he can carry this into the next series against the Rangers that starts tomorrow, and just as the season goes on, because obviously a lot of people, including myself, are expecting him to have a huge bounce back season from last year. And we label this guy as the franchise cornerstone as the Orioles, and so far through 3 games he hasn't really proved it. But again, it's only 3 games. I'm not going to sit here and put that much into the first 3 games of the year. Obviously, it's nice that the Orioles win their first series of the season. It's nice that we're 2-1 to start the year. But again, I'm not going to sit here and praise everyone and say, "Oh my God, we're winning the World Series." We can still be happy about these wins, but I'm not gonna push it too much. Let's see how things look in the next couple of weeks. But nice to see Gunnar get his first hit of the year. Pete Alonso was one of 2 Orioles players today with 2 or more base hits. He went 2 for 3 with a run scored and an RBI and a walk. So 3 total base appearances for Pete Alonso. This is the Pete Alonso that you went and traded for. This is or not traded for, that you signed to that 5-year, $155 million deal. This is who you got. 2 for 3 with a walk, 3 total base appearances, scored a run, drove in an RBI, and the Orioles in that 7th inning, that is when they kind of took back the lead and started to kind of create a gap in terms of insurance runs. Pete Alonso was the one that started that. He drove in a run to give the Orioles a 6-5 lead, and then eventually Adley Rutschman and Kobe Mayo and Dylan Beavers ended up actually adding on to that lead as well. But Pete Alonso, great game from him today. Ryan Mountcastle was starting at first base today. He went 0 for 3, so not a great game by Ryan Mountcastle. He did eventually get replaced for Adley Rutschman as a pinch hitter, where Adley came in and in his first appearance in this game went 1 for 1 with a hit and an RBI. He was incredible. I mean, he has been honestly the Orioles' best hitter this year. Him and Jeremiah Jackson have been the 2 best hitters for Baltimore this season. And Adley Rutschman was coming off the bench today. Like, Craig Albanez benched him today, gave him the rest, let Samuel Basallo start at catcher, and Adley comes into the game late off the bench, and what a valuable asset to have Adley Rutschman come off your bench today. He delivered in the clutch. He ended up making the game 7-5 late in the game. So Adley Rutschman did his thing coming off the bench. Obviously, he has looked great to start the year. Again, it's just 3 games, but he's still looked really, really good to start this season. Samuel Basallo goes 1 for 3 with a run scored and a walk. That walk that he had was actually an intentional walk, which was kind of cool to see the young 21-year-old getting intentionally walked. Because, again, teams know about this guy's power. Like, teams know the power that this guy has in his bat. I mean, he can really be a Yordan Alvarez type hitter sometime in his career. Obviously, he's still really young. He's only 21 years old, but he's one of the best young prospects in baseball, and a lot of Orioles fans, including myself, are really excited to see his first full rookie year this year. And it's also really obvious to see that we are going to give him a lot of opportunities in this game, because just in the 3rd game of the year, we decided to give Adley a break and have Samuel start at catcher, where he did his thing there. But Samuel Basallo does get a base hit today, 1 for 3 with a walk as well, did score a run. And then Tyler O'Neill returned to the lineup today, starting in right field. He went 1 for 3 with a 3-run homer over in the 4th inning in this game. Tyler O'Neill was really able to deliver in the clutch. Early in this game, the Orioles were down 4-0, and Samuel Basallo and Pete Alonso got back-to-back base hits. And Tyler O'Neill really needed to come up in clutch because it was looking rough. Like, the Orioles offense was looking really rough to start this game, and then Tyler O'Neill got the scoring started by hitting not only his first home run of the season, but the team's first home run of the season came from Tyler O'Neill. Shout out to Tyler. You know, we saw how good he did in spring training this season, and it looks like he may have brought it over to this year. He's hitting .286 to start the season with a .444 on-base percentage and a .714 slug. Again, it's just the first 3 games of the year, but it's cool to see Tyler O'Neill being the one to be. He's the only Oriole that has hit a home run this year in the first 3 games of the season. Hit a big 3-run blast to get the Orioles back in the game, where they eventually ended up crawling back in and winning this game 8-6. Now going over to Kobe Mayo, who went 2 for 4. He was the other Oriole with multiple hits. He went 2 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI. Shout out to Kobe Mayo. He did his thing. Dylan Beavers came up clutch in this game. He actually was the first player to give the Orioles the lead for the first time in this game with a 5-4 lead over in that in the 6th inning. Dylan Beavers 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Jeremiah Jackson went 1 for 3. He got the first base hit of the game. He has looked really good out at second base, and he's just really good as a hitter as well. He's hitting .429 in his 2 games this season. And then Blaze Alexander came off the bench to replace Jeremiah Jackson at the end of the game, where he went 1 for 1. And Blaze Alexander, he's also looked really, really good this season as well. So both of those backup second basemen and both of those utility guys in Blaze and Jeremiah have both looked like really, really good hitters so far this year. And going over here to the Orioles pitching, there was a lot of pitchers that pitched today for the Orioles. A lot of guys that came out of the bullpen. We used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total pitchers in this game. Shane Baz, who just signed that 5-year, $68 million extension, got the start today. He going through 5.1 innings, gave up 7 hits, 4 runs, and also had 4 strikeouts in this game. Didn't give up a walk, didn't give up a home run, so it could have been a lot worse for Shane Baz. But for his Orioles debut and also for his first game fresh off of the 5-year extension, this really wasn't like the greatest showcase of his skills. In the first inning, he looked incredible, but in the second inning, it was pretty disastrous. There were some really bad defensive plays, but it was bad defensive plays, but it was workable defensive plays, if you know what I mean. Tyler O'Neill missed a diving fly. It was a fly ball out in right field, and Tyler O'Neill had a chance to get it if he made a good play, but he missed the ball, and it ended up scoring 3 runs off of a double. But Shane Baz did give up 4 runs in 5.1 innings, so that's not great. But the good thing about Shane Baz that really stood out to me today was after that second inning where he gave up those 4 runs, all in the same inning, by the way. He gave up 4 runs in 1 inning. But after that second inning, the third, fourth, and fifth inning, and a third of an inning in the 6th inning, Shane Baz was able to really kind of collect himself, control himself. Did give up a couple more base hits across those 3.1 innings, but he was able to go 3.1 innings scoreless after the disastrous 4-run second inning. So Shane Baz was really able to kind of calm himself down, straighten himself back up, and finish the day strong and really limited the damage. It could have been really bad. He did give up a couple more hits after that second inning, but he was able to go 3.1 innings scoreless to finish out his day. So shout out Shane Baz for finishing the day strong. I'm sure he's obviously going to have multiple other opportunities to prove himself to the Orioles fans and also the franchise itself. But he's going to bounce back from this. I know he is. He's going to do a lot better, but not the greatest first start of the year for Shane Baz. And then Grant Wolfram comes into the game. He doesn't give up a run. Yamir Geraldo, he looked really, really bad this game. 0.1 innings, gave up a hit, a run, and had 3 walks. So he allowed 4 base runners in just 0.1 innings of work and also gave up a run. We ended up pulling him after 20 pitches. Rico Garcia came in, had a really good at-bat with Byron Buxton, got the strikeout on him. And Rico Garcia actually was the guy who got the win in this game. He only pitched 8 innings, so he actually had the least amount of total pitches out of any pitcher today for the Orioles, and he ended up getting the win, which is pretty funny how baseball works in that way. Rico Garcia gets the win, 0.1 innings, gets the strikeout, but it was a really, really big strikeout because the bases were loaded at the time, and Rico Garcia had to, enter a situation where there was a lot of traffic on the base pads, but Rico got through it and also ended up getting the win today. Tyler Wells did not look good in this game. 0.2 innings, had 27 pitches in 0.2 innings, gave up 2 hits, had 2 walks, gave up a run, and also had 2 strikeouts. Did a really bad job locating his stuff. Did not look great in this game, and he also didn't really look great in the first game of the season where he appeared as well. Tyler Wells right now is acting as that setup man for Ryan Helsley. Usually it would be Andrew Kittredge, but he currently is on the 15-day IL. Hopefully he can get back soon because Tyler Wells does not really seem to be taking this setup man role correctly or just taking it fine. Hopefully he'll end up bouncing back from this, obviously, but this bullpen, and as I said a few days ago when I did the season preview for the Orioles, this bullpen is going to be a real issue. If you look at the way that our bullpen is set up, other than Ryan Helsley, right now our bullpen looks very, very questionable, and it does not look great at all. So hopefully Andrew Kittredge coming back can really help out this bullpen. Hopefully Keegan Aiken coming back can help out this bullpen. But right now it's not looking too hot. But the one guy in this bullpen who is looking pretty hot is Ryan Helsley, who's throwing straight heat all year long. There was a stat that Kevin Brown and the broadcasting team over at Masson was saying today, is that Ryan Helsley, in his first appearance on Thursday, where he got his first save of the year, he threw more pitches over 100 miles per hour in that game, or 100 miles plus in that game. He threw more pitches over 100 miles per hour in that game than the Orioles did all of last year combined. That is insane. And that also goes to show that there wasn't that much pure volume and real velocity in the Orioles bullpen last year. Ryan Helsley, we know how incredible of a closer he can be. He had a really bad stint with the Mets last year after they traded for him at the deadline. But other than that stint with the Mets, he's been incredible throughout his career. Obviously in St. Louis, he was a top 5 closer in baseball for like 3 straight years. And I'm hoping that he can get back to that era of him and back to that style of him. He's looked incredible in his first 2 outings. He's 2 for 2 on saves and opportunities this season. 1 inning, 1 hit. Did have a strikeout in this game as well. And the strikeout that he had was a really cool one because he actually called for an ABS challenge in this game, and it was barely a strike, but Ryan Helsley was able to kind of call his own shot in a way there. He was only, I think, like the second pitcher through the first 4 days of the season, only the second pitcher to actually challenge an ABS call and actually get it right as a pitcher, because it's usually the catcher or the hitter doing it, but the pitcher doing it was really rare. So it was cool to see Ryan Helsley get his strikeout there. It was a really cool moment. The Twins manager got ejected because he got all mad, and Kevin Brown was saying, "You can't argue the robot." It was a really funny scenario on the MASN broadcast. But the Orioles get the win. Craig Albanez stitches together 7 different pitchers to kind of help get the win today. There was a lot of damage done. Again, the Twins had 6 total runs in this game. They also had 12 hits, so there was a lot of traffic on those base paths. The Twins left 10 on base today, so the Orioles had to deal with a lot in terms of the Twins' offense, but they were able to get through it with the 7 pitchers combined. And then obviously the Orioles' bats and offense really played their role. Pete Alonso had a multi-hit day. Tyler O'Neill had a 3-run homer. Dylan Beavers had 2 RBIs. Kobe Mayo had a multi-hit day. So this offense really in full played their part, and hopefully they can carry what they did today on offense and improve it even more tomorrow, but just kind of keep the same consistency and momentum heading on to the next series and throughout the season. But thank you guys so much for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow up on Spotify, make sure to click the link in the bio to check out the Twitter and the Instagram. I live tweet and post all the time over on the Twitter, so make sure to check that out. I would really appreciate all the support over there. Again, I live tweet throughout every single game, any single sort of news that comes out, I post about it, and that's the same with the Ravens as well. So again, I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow, where the Orioles start a brand new series against the Texas Rangers, and it's also their first series on the road this year. So the Orioles are going to be traveling to Arlington for their first road series of the year, the second overall series of the year. So hopefully the Orioles can go out there, win tomorrow, start off on a good foot against the Rangers, and then hopefully take that series, this next week as well. So again, I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one. Go O's, go Ravens, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace out.